Okay, 2 from now. Prime Minister, if you could begin perhaps with Mr. Dumas' statement this morning in New York that France actually wants compensation from New Zealand for what it terms meddling in nuclear matters, support for New Zealand's support for the Kanak independence movement in New Caledonia. How did you react to that?
Oh, I don't react to it at all. There must be an error either in translation or the reporting, because there are no claims before either party at the moment. What happened was that Monsieur Dumas offered what was described in the letter to me as a reparation, wanted to talk about it. Well, we are. Let us not be provocative about the situation as the French appear to be. We in New Zealand have been against nuclear testing wherever it is. We sponsor a comprehensive test ban treaty. We are therefore in no sense anti-French. With respect to the Kanak independence in New Caledonia, we have worked very closely with France and indeed have been thanked by France for our cooperation and understanding and reporting of the issues. We have never agreed with the French program, but we have communicated to France the real concern of South Pacific Forum countries in a way which France has found a helpful vehicle for expressing opinion. So I dismiss those rather original suggestions that we owe France money.
It seems curious. There does seem to be a certain amount of posturing still going on. Does it concern you that this is happening?
Oh no, I think, let us be quite clear about it. France has a problem. I have said this for weeks. New Zealand doesn't have the problem. Our process of law will go here perfectly normally. We must ensure a fair trial for 2 people who are accused. It is in France that the temperature is rising. It is in France that the issues are red hot, and it is France that has to find some political way out of a very real dilemma. Now, that is a matter for their judgment, not for my condemnation.
If you were a betting man, how would you see the situation in France politically ending up?
Well, they obviously are very skillful at containing situations, and I have no doubt that they're using all their political nerve to do that. And I also believe that it is, of course, very unsatisfactory for any country to be destabilised by what could be described as the suggested fall of a government. I would be concerned about that. You see, New Zealand's interest is in having a good, stable relationship with a stable France.
Do you think now, though, that you can continue or ever establish a stable relationship with this government, with the Mitterrand government?
Oh, I believe so. In fact, you see, probably the Mitterrand government has more cause to have a good workable relationship than any other government. It is the one, you see, who would benefit most from being able to demonstrate that degree of skill in handling international affairs.
So far as Prime Minister Fabius is concerned, Le Figaro reported last night that he in fact knew of the details of the Rainbow Warrior sinking much earlier, days earlier in fact, than he actually admitted at the end.
Well, I can't comment on that. I don't have access to that information. That, as I have said, what is New Zealand's concern? Fair trial, compensation, good relationship re-established. France's agenda, internal, political, difficult.
So far as compensation is concerned, I believe you've spoken to Mr. Palmer, who's in New York this afternoon. What is the latest on that?
That is proceeding in the normal course that we have decided with officials who will meet after we have quantified our claims. So what we have done is we have set up the forum wherein we will talk the issues. That will take a little time yet.
Just moving back towards the French couple who are facing trial in New Zealand, there has been speculation, I say speculation, in the fate of the 2 agents awaiting trial. In respect of what might happen to them following the trial, can you lay to rest the speculation that has been around?
After the trial, they will be convicted or they'll be acquitted. If they are acquitted, they are free. If they are convicted, they will be sentenced. If they are sentenced, it could be to any penalty. And there are provisions in the law which provide for sentences to be served in custody. There are provisions in the law which enable people to be deported. But none of that is a matter of politics. None of that is a matter of a bargain. All of it is a matter for law. If the New Zealand government didn't want these people to go on trial, we couldn't stop it.
The speculation has been confined to the situation whereby they might be deported, that a bargain or a deal may...
But that is a matter, again, for a judicial order. That is a matter for a court.
As far as the three agents, or at least three so far as we know, who are still at large in France, how does the situation lie as far as they're concerned? Do you ever really hope that they'll be brought to justice?
Yes.
Do you think they will be, though?
Well, they're not going to be surrendered to us by the French.
So what is the likely outcome in respect of them?
They'll stay in French territory for the rest of their lives.
How do you feel about that personally?
I don't know, I've never been to France.
How do you personally feel, Prime Minister, about the situation where three people who the French government has openly admitted took part or conspired to bomb the Rainbow Warrior are going to be at large in France, and there's nothing the New Zealand government or the New Zealand judicial system can do about it?
Well, how do I feel about it? I feel that that is completely wrong. I believe that it means that, in this case France, but certainly a state, is protecting people on grave charges, and that in the end reflects badly on the state and does nothing to expunge the odium which has been attracted by those three. But you see, it is all very well to have a sense of moral outrage. One must have a practical approach to it, and the simple fact is that they are not going to be, it appears, surrendered to New Zealand.
Or brought to justice in France?
Well, all brought to justice in France.
See, there seems to be something of a turnaround on the part.
Oh, there has been a dramatic turnaround.
A couple of weeks
4
ago.
weeks ago, it was a dastardly act, and all those responsible should be brought to justice, and France will be relentless. There will be a pitiless in its invigilation of the situation. Now, of course, there are three people performing a national function and can't be charged.
It's been, just moving on to another topic, back to nuclear testing. The current little tests, or the forthcoming tests that are going to take place in Mururoa Atoll. It has been suggested that France is not developing a new range of weapons, but they are moving forward to a new direction so far as their nuclear testing is concerned. Is that consistent with what you know to be the situation?
I know from the public statements that France is capable of making a neutron bomb, and that if it is, and given the French commitment to what they describe as their independent nuclear deterrent, one can only rationally assume that they will test it. Now, I have no proof of that, but it follows from their relentless pursuit of that strategy.
So far as the protesters are concerned on the yachts, you have already spoken on this topic before, but they're getting closer to the region every day. In fact, some of them are already close to it. Now, if in fact the French Navy or the French authorities do act in terms of arresting them, stopping them, how do you feel about that? How concerned are you about their safety, for example?
Well, in terms of their safety, I am sure the French will do everything they can to make sure that they are safe. In terms of their arrest, it is the right of a country to detain people pursuant to law within their territory.
What if it's outside their territory?
Well, then
French
that's...
have indicated that even if they may arrest outside.
Yes, but I think that France has decided not to engage in such activity.
If they did, how would you react?
Well, obviously, it's an act of, it's an international crime. That's quite simple. And I'd react in defence of those New Zealanders who had been subjected to that force.
Finally, Mr. Lange, looking back over the past few weeks, there have been some startling revelations. How do you feel at this far down the track? You believe that your stand over the whole matter from the beginning has now been vindicated?
Oh, it's obviously been vindicated. It is very, very difficult to manage the situation, and it has been a real test of not just me but of other ministers, because we have managed to keep the matter to the point where it has not prejudiced the trial of two people in New Zealand. That has been a critical factor in all of this, and therefore we've had to exercise a very considerable restraint. When we come to talk to other countries, we have to be careful as well, because that can be reported back to New Zealand. Despite those limitations, we have managed to be consistent, And we have now, of course, been shown to be correct in all our assertions. And even the suggestion of reparation is now, of course, becoming true.
There is no doubt in your mind, or anyone's mind in New Zealand, that the trial is going to go ahead.
The trial's going ahead.
Even with what has been said so far, in so many quarters by so many people, do you believe that the trial in any way has been prejudiced?
No, it hasn't been prejudiced. There has been no comment at all linking the two accused to any of the specific acts that have been conceded by France to have been its responsibility.
I wonder if I could trouble you just for a quick two-shot.
Yeah, right, do a two-shot.
Okay, thanks for showing me American little etc., 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 and so on and so on and so on. I was absolutely amazed by Fabian's statement this morning. I haven't got the exact wording. I don't know if you've heard it all either, but there was some suggestion that he was sort of lambasting New Zealand for its past activities.
No, it is.
The posturing we're getting goes on.
He's trying to get.
So on and so forth, and there we go, and so on and so forth. But,
you got enough now?
that's enough.
Okay, that's a hard case.
Right.